All right. When we notice clients are having a fear of success, one of the commonalities is that they make decisions as if they're in the same stage of life as they were when they started their success journey way back in the day. Like they slid down a game of chutes and ladders almost, and they have to like begin again, right? It was a great game when I was a kid. I loved that one. What would you say to someone who you have identified is in a bad game of chutes and ladders and maybe doesn't even realize it yet?
It's interesting because it's very common. And the reality is, we never walk through the same river twice. We're a different person. The river itself is different. And I think we have those, well, what'll happen if I'm successful? What if things change? But we can't live a stagnant life. And if we just try to, and I look at it as, if you want to play it safe, and what you're doing is existing, not living, not thriving. And living and thriving looks like doing, striving, taking risk, because that's where all the fun stuff comes from, and didn't you have fun the first time?
Well, it's funny because I think that there's a lot of us who look back and maybe they didn't have fun the first time.
Might have
for
been
me,
survival.
yeah. For me, I know I speak very fondly fondly and often about my dad and the success that my dad had. My dad was, for those of you who are new to my channel, my dad was a very successful entrepreneur, and I work very hard to follow a lot of the things that he did and that he taught me. But success cost him marriages, time with his children, money. There was a lot of things that maybe I don't even know it cost him. In my own life, cost me my marriage, cost me a lot of time with my kids. My kids are very fortunate and I have great relationships with them now, but success doesn't come free for anyone.
No.
So I think that when we look at what it takes to be successful, and then for a lot of people, what it takes to decide, do you want to embark on another journey of success? That might be one of the bigger hindrances that holds you back. I know what I gave up to get here. What will it cost me to go again?
What will it cost you to not go again? Now, again, you've got the wisdom from the first time, the lessons learned, and if you're feeling called for another venture or adventure, because that's what it is, what does it cost you to not try? How long have you been an entrepreneur, Kat? When was your first business? How old were you?
I was 19. I was married with a baby, a mortgage, and a tax ID number.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is anything...
I think that that's really probably the most relevant thing. I think we explain it as a pendulum, and it can be described in a lot of different ways in business and even in your personal life. But an object in motion stays in motion unless acted on by another force. For those of us who have seen success, and I think that's probably where you were going before I cut you off. Yeah, I've been doing this since I was 19. Even when I was working for someone else for periods of time, I still ran that portfolio like it was my own business. And I don't know a whole lot of people who have owned their own business that even if they sell it for a crap ton of money, or they go and decide, okay, we're going to close it, or maybe the pandemic shut their business down because it no longer functioned in the current environment, right? They still have got this like tiny side hustle. They're still looking to consult. They still have got this little tiny, almost like a sand module in an oyster, and they're still looking to make it, because it's that constant motion of what am I going to do next? I think what we're talking about here in this series is how big of a swing are you going to put in that pendulum to? And what is it? I think it's, Dennis, to me, it's a mindset. And who are you going to put yourself around that's willing to encourage you? I coached a client yesterday who this series is literally fantastic for, of course. And I said to him, give yourself some grace. You got yourself here through tons of adversity. His answer to me was, yet I know I have to remain humble. True, as we should, right? But I also think, which I said to him, we need those people around us who can say, yes, but I'm proud of you. You did a great job. Yes, we see you. And that's that piece of community that I think we all need so desperately.
Well, and you mentioned the selling the business. If you look at and did a study of everyone who sold the business for 7 or 8 figures or more, the ones that I'm free, I'm done, they enjoy that doing nothing for 3 to 6 months, and then they become miserable. And then they're like, I need my next thing. And I had a client the beginning of the week. He's in this looking to go to do something different. The business provides, it's no longer challenging. And we talk because he's looking as an either or. And it's and. If you can do it now with one arm tied behind your back, you need a good number 2. You don't have to sell it or dispose of it while you look at a new division or you look at your next thing, because he has people that are reliant on the other company too. A lot of people who are not business owners don't understand how important it is to a business owner that is providing livelihood for a team. That is as important to them as the business itself, because you're putting food on their table. You're paying for mortgages. Their kids go into school. How could you not be proud of that? Yeah, you need to be humble, but I've talked to some business owners. They talk about their teams first. It's not about how much money they make. It's about what great people work for them. And I think we need to. It's not an either or. A lot of times, it's and.
Both
You
and.
just had an acquisition. You didn't shut down your existing business. You acquired, and it's an and. And it just means you get to have some excitement because you have something new. And something new requires different focus, attention, and energy.
It's always, I just told someone this the other day, and for people who are listening that ask this question, I will rat you out if you do this. Don't do this. This is like another pet peeve of mine, waitresses who ask, do they need change? This is almost as bad. When I talk about my team on a podcast, when I'm being interviewed, and someone says to me, who is we? Inferring that I have co-owners. It's the biggest tell. I don't have co-owners. It's mine. But I would never speak of my team like they are less than, or that I am more than something without them. You got to have that team mentality. And I think for people who aren't humble, they wouldn't have the success that they have now, that get to this point. They don't give themselves enough grace. So if you have figured out in your head, hey, this is me, they're talking about me, I would never speak of myself like this. My team, they're my people. I'm not sure. And we've described you in the first 5 minutes of this episode, but you're not sure what it's going to take to be successful. I would hedge my bets that you've got what it takes to step out and say, okay, I'm ready to go again. Maybe with the help of a coach, not even an advertisement for you and I, but it's the head trash that's holding you back, because that is the recipe for success on a second level.